Let me get my background. All right. There we go. Oh, it looks so much better. All right. Well, hello, everybody. Let me pull up my chats, and we'll get a cooking here. Good. All right. I know Steph's been busy all afternoon tagging stuff for it. Huge thank you to Steph. The best. Close your eyes if you get dizzy. There we go. All right. That's this morning. That's stuff we did. 7.2 magnitude earthquake. I think that was like the last thing. All right. Let's pick up here. House Oversight Committee has launched an investigation into the allegations that crime data was manipulated. Oh, yes, it is. It is being manipulated. Bet your ass it is. On all kinds of stuff, mostly racial, mostly on racial lines. It's being manipulated, but I'm sure elsewhere too. All right, where's my YouTube chat? Here you guys are. My DLive. Very good. Yup. U.S. State Department issues emergency travel warning for U.S. citizens to avoid all travel within 50 kilometers of the Thailand-Cambodia border due to significant escalation in the conflict. Unfortunate. Sudden collapse of the peace agreement. Very sad. I don't know if it's been determined yet who actually drew first blood here. They both blame the other and claim innocence, so, like, who knows? Let's see what the latest is on it, actually. Let me pop over to YouTube. Thailand, Cambodia. Me today, or last hour. That isn't Indian. Guess not. Too much to ask, I suppose. We'll go with today.
Several 100,000 people in Thailand and Cambodia have been ordered to evacuate as a new wave of fightings erupted between the Southeast Asian neighbours. Both sides are blaming each other for starting the fighting. Thailand's Air Force said it struck Cambodian military targets along the disputed border, describing them as heavy weapons and combat personnel that could be a threat. Cambodia has denied provoking violence and has asked observers from the regional bloc ASEAN to investigate the Thai claims, they not to retaliate. Well, let's speak now to Panisha Amo-Cha, who is following developments for us at the BBC. What is the latest?
So we recently just have the press conference from Thailand Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul, who said that he believed in Thai military forces. And according to the data that we received, the Thai military has deployed airstrike to target the Cambodian military site and military positions. Whilst in the Cambodia, they said that they have not retaliated against Thailand at the moment. So this conflict, this confrontation is one of the most severe ones ever since the ceasefire back in July. And we have seen images for both Thai sides and the Cambodian sides of people in the borders area that they have to evacuate.
Well, dang. Thank you, Steph. Steph handing out memberships in the YouTube chat. And a $20 super chat. Thank you. Very nice of you. I guess still not clear. Still not clear who's at fault here. My guess is Cambodia, but that's a guess. Okay, Maine DMV reportedly caught giving info on how an illegal alien from Somalia could get a driver's license, despite killing someone in a car crash in his home country.
Okay, so as long as he brought his birth certificate from Africa, he'll be okay to get his driver's license?
So that is one form of ID that we can accept for the exam process to get him started. The other one needs to bear a signature.
So would you take like a country ID? Because they do kind of similar to
Yeah,
state.
you know if that's been signed, if there's
yeah.
an immature.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so I looked at it. So as long as he has his birth certificate from his home country in Africa and a driver's license that has his signature from his country, that should be okay?
So we would be able to use that out-of-country ID for the signature piece as long as that birth certificate has been translated. Do you know if it has?
Not down here, sorry.
Yes, yeah, he does have his, yeah.
It is translated. Okay,
Yeah.
then yeah.
Awesome.
We could. Yeah.
Okay, so his name's Mohammed. I guess now the next step would be this. He doesn't speak any English.
Oh my goodness.
Is the test done in Somalian?
So for the Class C language, we do translate in Somalia.
Oh my gosh.
On that form, that application that I was talking about earlier,
They'll
there's
actually give him the test in Somalian?
a box on there that says oral. He would just need to check that.
And how many can you get wrong?
So it is a 30-question multiple choice questions. Once he hits 6, the test will automatically shut off.
Okay, so he can only get 5 wrong out of the 30 to be safe.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
No, this is good. This is actually that's actually pretty easy. So he has to get 25 right out of the 30.
Give them the test in Somalian. Don't care if they can't read road signs. I mean, whatever. Oh yeah, sorry. Hot dog link. I forgot. My bad. It's Autumn Olive Farms. Pork belly hot dog. There they are. This is the butcher we go to right here. But they do ship it, yeah. They do. I don't know how much shipping costs, but I tried finding pork belly hot dogs from any other farm anywhere. They're like the only one in the country I could find. Ridiculous. Yeah, I will drop the link here. Give me a sec. Oh, and I saw y'all chatting about hot dog sides out there. I'm a fan of my own special recipe of baked beans, which I load up with. Let's see. I get the maple and onion baked beans. Why is my shit all like going haywire? My camera's like going all slow and stuff. It was weird. Anyway, I load up the baked beans from, okay, so the Whole Foods baked beans, the maple and onion baked beans, organic. I put a spoonful of brown sugar, spoonful of mustard, a little dash of chili powder, paprika, and about a tablespoon of butter, and then cook up 4 pieces of bacon. Chop those up, put them in the beans. Cool down the bacon fat, and then spoon out 2 spoonfuls of bacon fat and put them in. And then you just stir it all up, and you're good to go. Promise you they're the best fucking beans you'll ever have in your life. Best in your life. Oh, it's incredible. Oh, don't forget the black pepper. I forgot that. You got to put black pepper into. So, all right, let's see. Next up, yeah, that is the primo. That is the choice for hot dog connoisseurs everywhere. Baked beans, in my opinion. Did I get the link out there? Where's it at? I don't know why my camera's going all like shitty like that. That's so goofy. Probably because Radix she screwed something up. She was down here messing with my stuff the other day. Oh my gosh, it's like usable. Cool with that. That is just obnoxious. Look at that. I'm gonna try like. Are you guys seeing that? They're coming through all goofy for you, like all choppy and stuff. Weird. Probably okay for YouTube, but I think in Zoom it's getting all kinds of strange. Sorry, YouTube's like, what are you even talking about? What are you talking about? Well, as long as no one's seeing it, I mean, whatever. It's like showing up on my screen. Just like choppy as heck. Very strange. Okay, DLive says it's fine. I'll take your word for it. All right. Let's keep going. Let me get the link dropped first. Here we go. Conservative justices on the Supreme Court appear ready to strike down an activist judge and uphold President Trump's firing of left-wing FTC Commissioner Rebecca Slaughter. Whoa. Nice name. What? What? First Lady Melania Trump on a trip with Santa Claus in a V-22 Osprey. Just for fun, I guess. And for Toys for Tots. That's cool. Good cause.
Today, we are here for one of the most beloved traditions of the holiday season, Toys for Tots, led by United States Marine Corps Reserve. For more than 75 years, Marines and volunteers across America collect and deliver new toys to children who need a little extra joy during Christmas, all wrapped with love and great care. To everyone here at Quantico and all those who support the Toys for Tots Foundation, thank you. This includes the Toy Association's generous support. I'm grateful for your partnership and dedication to promoting fun and creativity. You help bring the delight of Christmas morning to millions of children, and you remind us all that American tradition, kindness, and love remain among our most powerful.
Amen. It's adorable.
Fox News alert now, the Supreme Court appears ready to side with President Trump in granting him the ability to fire independent agency board members.
Well, okay then. Appears ready to be. We'll see. Ilhan Omar filed legislation that led to $250 million being defrauded. Held events at one of the restaurants named in one of the fraud cases and had a former staffer convicted in a fraud investigation. What did she know and when did she know it? Oh, she knows basically everything. Come on. She knows damn well what's going on. She's mixed up in it.
Legislation that led to the $250 million being defrauded. She held events at one of the restaurants that was named in the fraud case and had a former staffer who was convicted in the fraud investigation. That's from the New York Post. And 60 of the 79 people who've been indicted in this are from her 5th congressional district there in Minnesota. So a lot of people are saying, wow, there's a lot of potential links here. How much did she know about this? Legislation that led to the $250 million being defrauded. She held.
Was she getting kickbacks of any kind? I wonder. Alina Habba has resigned as acting U.S. Attorney for New Jersey. That happened this morning. After all the bullshit they went through to try to get her yanked and everything. I think she was just kind of throwing in the towel, moving on to something else. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Free says he will not allow police officers to cooperate with ICE.
And the message that we are sending to our Somali community, to our Latino community, to any community that is being targeted, is that we stand with you. Minneapolis is not backing down. Our police officers will not coordinate with any federal agency that is doing immigration law enforcement work. We stand with the community members that make Minneapolis the extraordinary place that it is, and we aren't backing down. We're rock solid in support of them.
I bet he is. I bet he's also benefiting somehow. Nice. Welcome to holiday season at Mount Vernon with glowing lights and spectacular fireworks above the Potomac River. Neato. December 20th through 21st. Oh, come on. Oh man, that looks so cool. It looks so much fun. I haven't been to Mount Vernon in a while. Long while. I mean, I kind of wish they wouldn't like goof it up with all the like RGB LED lights and stuff. Like, go old school. Come on. It's what Mount Vernon's all about. Like, why are you going with cheap Chinese neon blue and green and red LEDs? Why aren't you just throwing up some nice tungsten bulbs all over the place or something? Candles. It's probably dangerous, whatever. But like, seriously. Sorry, I'm a complainer, I know. Generally speaking, though, it looks like a really cool event. Oh yeah, Trump on America 250 here at the Kennedy Center Honors.
What would you like to see for America 250 here at the Kennedy Center? What would you like to see?
Well, we're going to have a lot of events. You know, one of the things you're going to have here is some of the UFC press. You're going to have the fighters coming over talking about the fights. It's a big deal. The UFC on June 14th. It's going to be June 14th next year. And they're building an arena. The great Dana White's building an arena. And they're going to have 8 or 9 championship fights, the biggest fights they've ever had. Everyone's a championship fight. And everyone's a legendary type of fight. He's actually holding back fights right now for 6 months so he can do it for this, the 250. I think 250 is going to be amazing. I think the arena is going to be 5,000 or 6,000 seats right in front of the front door of the White House, and 100,000 people in the back where they're putting up 8 or 10 very big screens. That's going to be an exciting night. So,
well, shoot. That's the kind of work I've been doing lately, so wouldn't be shocked if we get pulled in to do that. I mean, the America 250 thing is going to be gigantic. They're going to need a lot of hands on deck, assembling all kinds of stuff. Wouldn't be shocked if the company I've been working for gets pulled in for something like that. Exciting. It'd be pretty cool. Yeah, we truck in all the LED panels, like these gigantic LED screens that you see at all these events. They come in like little squares, and they all get packed into a case, like little 2-foot squares. They all get assembled on site, piece by piece, onto a big frame. A lot of fun. China's paying American women to carry Chinese babies, so the child gets a U.S. passport, then immediately returns to China. It's only a matter of time before that became a market.
The Chinese have a new way of creating U.S. citizens for their intelligence services and their military. It's dangerous. Chinese couples are hiring American surrogates and having them give birth to their kids in America. Then the Chinese couple comes over after the birth and takes the kid back to China with a U.S. passport. In the 2000s, everybody talked about pregnant women coming to America on tourist visas and then giving birth in the United States to a child with automatic American citizenship. It was called birth tourism. Now the Chinese families are taking it a step further. In the words of Brian Entin, renting a womb. NewsNation senior correspondent Brian Entin is with us now for his exclusive reporting. Brian, is this a one-off thing, or is this actually happening at scale?
No, it's happened tens of thousands of times across the United States. We learned when we went out to California, Leland. We went out to look into the birth tourism scheme because there's been a lot of recent busts involving the feds, even though it's been going on for a long time. And they've sort of got that under control, and it's against the law because these women overstay their visas. They come on a tourist visa, they stay, they have the baby, and then they go back to China. But while we were in California, we learned about this new rent-a-womb scheme, which is almost more alarming because it is not illegal. It's a loophole. This is actually one of the motels that we went into where some of the pregnant women stay. And basically with the rent-a-wombs, you've got these parents in China who spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's happening thousands of times. And they pay a woman in America that has the sperm and the egg from China inside of them. They use the American womb. The American woman gives birth to the Chinese baby, and then the baby gets the U.S. passport but immediately goes back to China with no allegiance whatsoever to America, but is an American citizen. I spoke to the acting U.S. attorney in Los Angeles about this. They are very alarmed. Listen to this, Leland. What happens in 20 years? Is there any concern that they could become spies, that the Chinese government could use them somehow because they'll have the American passport?
Anytime that somebody has a U.S. passport, it means that they have access to the United States. They will give you the example. Child born in Irvine in 2015 goes back and ultimately joins the Chinese military at age 20. Having a U.S. passport, that provides a real national security asset to China and a real problem to the United States.
So they might be babies now, Leland, but just like the acting U.S. attorney said, the concern is in 20 years if they're in the Chinese army and they possess a U.S. passport and they can come and go freely, that is very, very valuable to the Chinese government. And by the way, costs $200,000 roughly to do this, not against the law. The American women make about $70,000 to have the Chinese baby. Leland?
Stunning. Follow the money always. And there's no way to stop this short of what? A law and then somehow trying to change birthright citizenship?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a couple of Congress people right now. They had a hearing up on the Hill about it last month that are very concerned. It's a loophole. The U.S. attorney is concerned, but there's no way to stop it right now. I mean, obviously, President Trump is looking into the whole birthright citizenship thing, but yeah, they're getting away with it.
Yeah, and already have tens of thousands of babies. So the Chinese play the long game. They always have. Brian, thank you.
Yep. It's creepy. Renting your womb out, like, ugh. A New York Post. Biden was warned his soft on immigration proposals would cause chaos, but he ignored it. Damning memo reveals. He was warned by his advisors that his immigration plans could lead to chaos at the U.S. border, but he just straight up ignored them. A potential surge could create chaos and a humanitarian crisis, overwhelm processing capacities, and imperil the agenda of the new administration. Yeah, especially that last part, you would think. Seems they didn't really care about that. Memo warned that a huge influx was possible given Biden's approach, a backlog from the Trump admin, and COVID hardships. His team offered up steps that Biden, now 83, could take to thwart an influx of illegal migrants, including ways to reject immigration claims more easily, potentially holding asylum seekers in reception centers until their cases could be heard, and transferring them to other countries. Biden just opted to ignore all of it. Justice Kavanaugh intellectually pummels Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson at the Supreme Court on whether President Trump can fire a Democrat member of the FTC.
I don't understand why it is that the thought that the president gets to control everything can outweigh Congress's clear authority and duty to protect the people in this way.
But Justice Kavanaugh asked, what happens when a president can't effectively carry out his or her agenda because of what a previous administration from an opposing party has done in maybe setting up one of these multi-member agencies or boards, and those members can't be fired by the president?
When you need a chance to deal with the hard hypothetical, when both houses of Congress and president are controlled by the Senate party, them creating a lot of these independent agencies with or extending some of the current independent agencies into these kinds of situations so as to thwart future presidents of the opposite party.
So to rule for the president, they'd have to overturn a 90-year-old precedent, which has basically been on life support, if we're being honest. But the court's going to consider some of these same questions again. Slightly different framework in January when it wades into whether the president can dismiss a Fed governor. The court has indicated that it sees the Fed as a unique institution because it is quasi-private.
Quasi-private, my butt cheek. Justice Gorsuch questions the attorney or fired FTC Commissioner Rebecca Slaughter on basic executive functions.
So even some quintessentially executive functions, in your view, are not vested in the President of the United States?
Yeah, I would not say that. I would not put it in this. I would not say that they're. Yes, I would say they're not.
You have to say yes to that based on what you've just given.
They're not constitutionally committed to the person of the president and to his sole and exclusive discretion.
So even some quintessentially executive functions, in your view, are not.
That's an interesting take. I mean, love to hear him spell out how he came to that conclusion, but Justice Kagan questions the independence of agencies that Congress has given authority without control by any single individual. Gorsuch asks if Congress has delegated too much legislative authority to agencies. Yeah.
But we can all admit that for whether you want to call it for constitutional purposes, that in a real world kind of way, that's what they're doing. Now, some people think that we should never have gone down that road, but that's what we're doing. So let me put the proposition in a sort of different way. Here's been the bargain over the last century, and I think it has been a bargain. Congress has given these agencies a lot of work to do that is not traditionally executive work, that is more along the lines of make rules when we issue broad delegations and do lots of adjudications that set the rules for industries and entire bodies of governance, right? And they've given all of that power to these agencies largely with it in mind that the agencies are not under the control of a single person, of the president, but that indeed Congress has a great deal of influence over them too. And if you take away a half of this bargain, you end up with just massive, uncontrolled, unchecked power in the hands of the president. And it's really hard to affect both sides of this bargain because it's already been done. So the result of what you want is that the president is going to have massive, unchecked, uncontrolled power, not only to do traditional execution, but to make law through legislative and adjudicative frameworks.
The president's going to have all the executive power, which is what the Constitution dictates. And the way you framed it there, I think, makes the separation of powers problems in the alternative view here even worse. Because you have just described these rulemakings and adjudications as really judging and legislating. If they really were that, which this court has unanimously said they must not be, they cannot be, but if they were that, then Congress is not just affecting the executive, it's creating junior varsity legislatures, which would be unconstitutional under Justice Scalia's dissent in Mistretta. It's peeling away adjudicative authority, the judicial power from Article III courts.
I understand that as a formal argument, and obviously formal arguments play a significant role in this area.
Okay, Kagan.
But they shouldn't blind us to the real-world realities of what our decisions do. And the real-world reality of this one is that when you put all of these agencies under complete
oh my gosh,
presidential control, given what Congress has already done and will not.
Your focus is on what the Constitution says, not on the potential effects of whatever decision you end up making. Like, what?
Be able to take back with respect to the powers that have been delegated to the agencies. What you are left with is a president that maybe, your first sentence to me, this is the kind of president you want, but a president with control over everything, including over much of the lawmaking that happens in this country.
He would have control over the executive branch, which he must and does have under our Constitution. And again, if that's really legislating, then there's a separate constitutional problem that the legislative power has also been taken away from Congress. Now, this court has not adopted that in a series of decisions, including Morrison, including FCC against Arlington, including Steele Law. The court has correctly recognized that all this stuff that agencies like the FTC is doing is an exercise of the executive power. That is fundamental to our separation of powers, which is the bastion of individual liberty in our constitutional structure.
Thank you, General.
Justice Gorsuch?
General, let me suggest to you that perhaps Congress has delegated some legislative power to these agencies. Let's just hypothesize that. And let's hypothesize, too, that this court has taken a hands-off approach to that problem through something called the intelligible principle doctrine, which has grown increasingly toothless with time. Is the answer, perhaps, to reinvigorate the intelligible principle doctrine and recognize that Congress cannot delegate its legislative authority? Is the water warm, General?
Sorry, what was the last? I couldn't hear the last bit.
Is the water
warm, sir?
Warm.
Is the water warm? Suffice to say, let me say one thing in response to that. It is much easier to cure. Obviously, members of this court have debated the scope of the non-delegation doctrine. The challenge of finding the right standard there is something we've discussed in the past. Here, though, this wolf comes as a wolf, right? I mean, the restriction on executive power is right there in the statute. It's easy to remedy by excising the removal restriction.
There are a lot of wolves around here, General. That one thing our framers knew is that every political actor seeks to enhance its own power. We all know that to be true from our own experiences. And this court, as part of this bargain, has allowed these agencies to exercise both executive and legislative.
Yep.
Justice Sutherland, whose name hasn't been invoked around here in quite a while, his language about quasi-legislative and quasi-judicial and quasi-this powers. And this court has allowed that for a very long time. But if we're not going to allow it any longer, I take the point that that this has allowed a bargain where a lot of legislative power has moved into these agencies. But if they're now going to be controlled by the president, it seems to me all the more imperative to do something about it.
I agree with that, and I can't address all the wolves in the world, but this wolf, when it comes to constitutional structure, is Fenris, the most dangerous wolf in the history of Norse mythology.
And let me ask you about the judicial power. To the extent we're worried about the tax court or the court of claims, maybe despite what people think, maybe some of them might be, I don't know, but maybe they're Article 3 courts and the removal restrictions are impermissible. Thoughts?
There definitely could be arguments of that. I'm not taking a position on the validity or non-validity of any of those, which are not presented here, but certainly commentators have argued that things like the federal magistrate judges and the bankruptcy courts seem to be real adjuncts to Article 3 courts, and an argument might be made of that nature. There are line drawing problems there. We haven't addressed them here. I don't have the federal government's concerted answer to that, but certainly those line drawing problems would go to whether what is going on is judicial power or executive power.
The adjudication of private rights is different, we have said, than the adjudication of public rights.
And again, yes, those would implicate all those line drawing problems.
There's an interesting little segment. Bryan Kohberger is reportedly threatening to harm himself behind bars.
Kohberger is reportedly threatened to harm himself so he can be removed from the J block of the Idaho Maximum Security Institution. This measure reportedly stemming from his fellow inmates' threats against him. What do you make of Kohberger's recent complaints and the fact that they're getting so much attention?
First of all, Bryan Kohberger, being a PhD student formerly, he well knows that there are many rights that prisoners have, and one of those rights is the right to due process when it comes to being able to complain, particularly if he thinks he is being unjustly treated. And
God, those eyes, man.
He's taking big advantage of that.
Repo.
He also has the freedom of speech, freedom of religion. He well knows this, and that's why we're seeing these complaints roll in.
What about his claims that he could harm him?
Ugh. Unsettling. Luigi Mangione flashes a fist pump to the camera in court. Playing it up, huh? Yep. Chairman Loudermilk just sent a letter to Carlin Younger. Oh, really? So, Chairman Loudermilk just sent a letter to Carlin Younger, the individual who first discovered the pipe bomb near the RNC on January 6, 2021, requesting a transcribed interview before the select subcommittee. Oh, goody gumdrops. I wonder what is going on here, especially in light of all the recent apparent revelations with the new suspect. And the talk that there's more to come, remember? Wasn't that Loudermilk himself saying that, or one of them, one of the crew? Interesting. Well, I wonder when are they going to do that? No later. Okay, to schedule your interview, please contact no later than 10 a.m. December 22nd. So we'll have a confirmed date here soon. Justices Brett Kavanaugh and Sam Alito nuke the independent commission scam and apparent win for Trump.
And agencies are not accountable to the people. They're not elected, as Congress and the president are, and are exercising massive power over individual liberty and billion-dollar industries, whether it's the FCC or the FTC or whatever.
Thoughts on Kavanaugh's words, Jonathan?
Well, both Kavanaugh and Alito really made short work of those defending this law. They kept on presenting hypotheticals, what they called hard hypotheticals, of where does this take you? Both of them said, well, can you just go ahead and make any cabinet department an independent commission? Can you specify just one commissioner? Can you make their length in office 20 years? All of those questions left the other side floundering. The best that they could say at points was, well, if something like that happens, you could come back and look at it.
Well, the justices are looking at it now. And one of the things that should be unnerving is that those justices that normally form an alliance in these cases with the left of the court were not there today. Chief Justice Roberts really stomped on Humphrey's estate and said that it was basically a desiccated or dried up precedent. Justice Barrett said these commissions don't look anything like what existed at the time of some of these earlier cases. So that's not a good omen if you want Humphrey's estate to live to 91.
All right.
All right. Three-year-old boy becomes world's youngest rated chess player from India. Crazy. It's just weird. G7 finance ministers discussed export controls and critical minerals in call. Canada says, well, more fast. Congress to withhold Pentagon travel funds until it sees boat strike videos. They're not going to let them travel. That's creepy. Wisconsin County implements AI-powered dispatcher they're calling Ava to answer non-emergency calls. That's right. Coming soon to a locale near you. AI-powered emergency lines. Or, well, non-emergency in this case, but it's only a matter of time. Call 911 and you get hooked up to an AI bot. And stuck in a loop. Yep. Rep. Jim Jordan announces that Jack Smith's corrupt Arctic frost spying on Republicans in Congress will be fully exposed when he is questioned December 17th.
You're bringing in Jack Smith for a deposition, right? You're putting him under oath. What do you think you're going to learn?
Well, we've already deposed 3 of his deputies. One of them we actually referred for a criminal indictment to the Justice Department because we felt he was totally obstructing our investigation. So we're going to bring Mr. Smith in. We've received a number of communications and documents that are important before you bring him in for a deposition. So we're looking forward to that. I think one of the key questions is, why did you wait until the Speaker of the House, Speaker McCarthy, became Speaker before you went back and subpoenaed his information? I mean, what was that all about? They got 2 months of his call records. Who he called, who called him, when the call took place, how long the call lasted. And if Speaker McCarthy initiated the call, they knew where he was located when he did so. Well, you can track and pattern an individual's life over a 2-month. They did it for me for 2.5 years, for goodness sake. So I think that's a line of question. Why all these members of Congress did you go get their call logs and text message data, not the actual message, but when those messages took place and who they were texting? Why did you go get that? And again, for the Speaker, they did it after he became Speaker, and this was supposed to be about January 6th, which was 3 years prior, for goodness sake. So I think there's a number of questions we have for Mr. Smith. We'll have him in a deposition now in 10 days, and we're looking forward to that.
Major earthquakes today. Yep, we saw the one in Japan this morning. Like more elsewhere around the world. Alaska, Taiwan, Russia, Turkey, Peru, and the Congo. Oh, Trump did a roundtable today. Got a highlight reel here. Very nice. Let's see.
I'm delighted to announce this afternoon that the United States will be taking a small portion of the hundreds of billions of dollars we receive in tariffs. We are making a lot of money from countries that took advantage of us for years. They took advantage of us like nobody's ever seen. Our deficits are way down because of tariffs. I guess because of the election, because without the election you wouldn't have tariffs. You'd be sitting here losing your shirt. but we're taking in billions. We're really taking in trillions of dollars, if you think about it, Scott, because the real number is, when you think of all the money being poured into the country for new auto plants and all of the other things, AI. So what we're doing is we're taking a relatively small portion of that, and we're going to be giving and providing it to the farmers in economic assistance. And we love our farmers, and as you know, the farmers like me, because based on voting trends, you could call it voting trends or anything else, but they're great people. They're the backbone of our country. So we're going to use that money to provide $12 billion in economic assistance to American farmers. $12 billion is a lot of money, Meryl. What do you think? Peanuts for you, though, right? Peanuts. She's a farmer of rice. This relief will provide much-needed certainty to farmers as they get this year's harvest to market and look ahead to next year's crops, and it'll help them continue their efforts to lower food prices for American families.
Cool. All right. $12 billion for farmers affected by the tariffs.
Farmers are an indispensable national asset, part of the backbone of America. I've always felt it so strongly. They're so important. Unfortunately, under sleepy Joe Biden, he's a sleepy guy, our farmers were crushed by the worst inflation in modern history and crippling restrictions on energy, water, and countless other necessities for farmers. And what they did to the farmer in terms of putting the brakes on was just absolutely unacceptable. In my first term, we had an agricultural trade surplus by a lot. We had a big surplus, meaning that we were exporting American agricultural products all over the world, making a net profit, and in many cases a very substantial profit. He came in and ruined it. Biden turned that surplus into a gaping agricultural deficit that continues to this day, but we're knocking it down. It's starting to go very good. In fact, China, as you know, is buying a tremendous amount of soybeans, and the number, I spoke with President Xi recently, very recently, and I think he's going to do even more than he promised to do. So I think the relationship is a very good one. I think he's going to do more than he promised to do, and what he promised to do is a lot. So we're very happy with that. In the last year, Biden bankruptcies rose by 55%, having to do with farms. So farm bankruptcies under Joe Biden went up 55%. That's not good. But now we're once again in a position where a president is able to put farmers first. But unfortunately, I'm the only president that does that.
Okay, since my successful meeting in South Korea with President Xi, purchases have been made. Soybeans are being exported out of the United States to China as we speak. We inherited these grocery prices. Maximizing domestic farm production is a big part of how we will make America affordable again. Bring down grocery prices for American families.
As the president said, we are very pleased to announce that today we are going to be effectuating an $11 billion bridge payment to our farmers. The money will move by February 28th of 2026, but by the end of this month, so just in the next couple of weeks, every farmer that is able to apply for it will know exactly what that number looks like. So as you are going to your lender, as you are working to ensure and understanding what you can plant for next year, you will have that number in hand. And we will continue to talk to our farmers, continue to understand exactly what this looks like and what is necessary. So, as the president said,
President on lowering the cost of farm equipment.
The other thing I'd like to add before going to Scott, and I think it's very important, we're going to also give the tractor companies, John Deere and all of the companies that make the equipment, we're going to take off a lot of the environmental restrictions that they have on machinery. It's ridiculous. I know.
Interesting.
Because I buy a lot of that machinery for different things. We have a lot of big clubs with, hundreds, thousands of acres. And I buy a lot of stuff. And you buy it, it's got so much equipment on it for the environmental, it doesn't do anything, except it makes the equipment much more expensive and much more complicated to work, and it's not as good as the old days. And we're going to take a lot of that nonsense off of the equipment, which is going to reduce, and we're going to do it, and we're going to say you're going to reduce the prices. We're not going to do it and they're not going to reduce. They're going to have to reduce their prices because farming equipment has gotten too expensive. And a lot of the reason is because they put these environmental excesses on the equipment, which don't do a damn thing except make it complicated, make it impractical. And you really have to be, in many cases, you need about 185 IQ to turn on a lawnmower. Now, so we're going to take that off, that crap off that they put on Biden mostly. And we're going to take that off. So that's going to make that'll bring down the equipment prices a lot.
That's right.
And we're going to do that immediately. You're going to work with Lee Zeldin, who's not here. He's doing a fantastic job, and Lee is going to work that out. And that would be most of it. It's crazy. The machines, they're always under repair because they're so complicated that you can't fix them. The old days you used to fix it yourself. Now you can't do that. You have to be a PhD from, let's say, MIT. Okay, so we're going to get that done.
That's cool. All right. Direct payments will give producers the breathing room they need to market this year's harvest and plan for next season. The corn and soybean farmer from Iowa.
First off, from me, I want to say thank you for this bridge payment. It's Christmas early for farmers. And just to kind of have an icebreaker here for the story, I've got a 2-year-old little boy at home. 2-year-old little boy and a 4-month-old little girl. And the other day I was reading my little boy a story at night, putting him to bed, and he said, "Daddy, I don't want Santa Claus to come to our house for Christmas. I want President Trump." And I think, Mr. Trump, I think you brought Christmas to farmers with this bridge payment. We'll be able to farm another year, help us get by. It's such an honor to be here with you. I lost my grandfather and a hard hand in 2002 in a farming accident.
Oh.
And he instilled in me at an early age to love the land, to take pride in what we do.
Is that a machine accident?
It was a machine accident. And it gets in your blood to farm. It's in our blood. Despite what happened, I want my 2-year-old to farm. I want my 4-month-old daughter to have an opportunity. And what you're doing here in DC is working. You have a backbone to stand up to other countries for trade. You're getting things done. Tax provisions. I'll be able to potentially pass on a farm to my children because of you. Ethanol. You're working for ethanol. Trying to get E15 year-round. We're dealing with California, Prop 12. Let's continue to work on that. I think we can have a lot of domestic product used here in the country, and we can keep America first, and you're good at that. That is who you are, and if we keep that E15, you can have the biggest...
E15 is a big deal?
E15 is a great deal, year-round.
Okay.
You could have the biggest stamp. I did that. Trump did that, and we would thank you. Farmers would love you more than anything if we could continue that. Continue to use domestic product, use the byproducts, and even be able to export to other countries. And so what you've done here, and just having us here in the White House with you, sitting beside the Secretary and all these other great individuals here, what a true honor. And I will take pride in this meeting, and I will take this home for many generations to come. And because of what you're doing, hopefully them generations can stay on the whole Bland farm.
Oh. Another one here, Merrill Kennedy, rice, corn, and soybean farmer from Monroe, Louisiana.
Along with being a mother of 3 and a wife, I run my family's agribusiness, Kennedy Rice Mill, in a little town called Moraige, Louisiana, about 1,000 people in the northern part of the state. We employ around 150 people taking rice from the field to a finished product, supplying some of the largest food companies that many of you would know here domestically, but also abroad. And my sisters and I, because there is 4 of us, right? I'm the youngest of 4 daughters, started our own rice brand a few years ago to just tell the story of American agriculture that hadn't really been told before. But I wish I was here under better terms. I'll tell you, I think the rice industry thanks you sincerely for what you have done for the California rice market and to Japan. It has been monumental for our industry. But us in the South are really struggling. I mean, this is not just a crisis. I would say it's almost a market dynamics that really are true anti-competitive nature, right? So it follows what you sent out this weekend, and we do believe that countries are dumping rice into this country today. We've never seen imports this great.
Which countries?
India, Thailand. Even China into Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico used to be one of the largest markets for U.S. rice. We haven't shipped rice into Puerto Rico in years.
Interesting.
You know, the interesting thing about the farm, they don't want aid. They want to just have a level playing field. I've seen that more with farmers than anybody else, any other industry, right, Deb?
Right.
We've seen it more with farmers where I've had meetings like this, primarily in the first term, and we did a great job. We turned it around. This is going to be the golden age. But the farmers don't want aid. They want to have a level playing field, because if they have a level playing field, they'll do better than anybody else. They're better than anybody else. Our product is incredible. I mean, you know, the interesting thing about
taking down a fake news reporter? Why not?
And I just have a quick question. There's at least 20 House Republicans who have either said they're going to retire or not run again.
And Democrats also. And Democrats.
Right. Do you have any?
Well, why don't you mention them? How many Democrats are going to retire? How many Democrats?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
But why don't you tell me the number of Democrats, too? You tell me about...
Are you concerned about the narrow margins? And
no, I'm not concerned. I think we're going to do well.
Among them, and
we will have the greatest economy.
Blakeman, who you know as well, is considering running for governor.
We're going to have the greatest economy in history. How many Democrats are retiring? How come you only know the Republicans but not the Democrats?
Because I came prepared to ask you a question about...
No, you're unprepared because you should know the Democrats. You're totally...
Precisely.
Unprepared. Go ahead.
Well, can I ask a quick follow-up about...
Who are you with?
I'm with New York Newsday, and I also have a quick follow-up. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is among those who is running for New York governor.
She's great.
Bruce Blakeman, who you also know
is
also
great.
Are you planning on making any endorsements?
Well, think about it, but he's great and she's great. They're both great people. We have a lot of great people in the Republican Party. Go ahead.
Whoa, fancy. Interesting. All right. Sorry, surfing on my phone. The insurance companies, they're taking in trillions of dollars. I don't want to pay the insurance companies anything. I want to pay the people.
What I'm going to do is, if the Democrats go along with it, which they don't want to because they want to make the insurance companies very rich, okay? I want the money to be paid to the people to go out and buy their own health care instead of paying to the, you know, the insurance companies, their stock has gone up 1,700% in a short period of time. Did you know that? 1,700. You wish your corn went up, right? But the insurance companies, stock has gone up by 1,700%, 1,800%. They're taking in trillions of dollars. I don't want to pay the insurance companies anything, and I know a lot of them, but they're owned by the Democrats. And the Democrats have, Obamacare is a setup to make insurance companies rich. And I want to pay the people, and I want the people to go out and buy their own health care. And that's what we want to do, and that's what the Republicans want to do, because Obamacare is a disaster. And I said it 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, it was always a disaster. It's bad health care that's too expensive for people. And now your premiums, and you said it better than I said it, you said the Obamacare premiums are going to go up. They're going way up. And what I want to do is have the money, and you know who's getting that money? A lot of it is the insurance companies. I want the people to get the money and go out and buy their own health care. And everybody wants that.
Hot Mike catches President Trump ranting that the Senate GOP is letting Democrats stonewall his U.S. attorney appointees through the blue slip tradition.
Hey, Jeff, you know I cannot appoint anybody. Huh? I can't appoint anybody. Everybody I've appointed, their time is expired. And then there is a fall.
Wow. Oh, Ketanji Brown Jackson lost it today during oral arguments and went on a No King style rant about President Trump wanting to rule like a monarch. Oh, God.
Some issues, some matters, some areas should be handled in this way by nonpartisan experts. That Congress is saying that expertise matters with respect to aspects of the economy and transportation and the various independent agencies that we have. So having a president come in and fire all the scientists and the doctors and the economists and the PhDs and replacing them with
more scientists and PhDs?
Loyalists and people who don't know anything is actually not in the best interest of the citizens of the United States. These issues should not be in presidential control. So can you speak to me about the danger of allowing in these various areas the president to actually control the Transportation Board and potentially the Federal Reserve and all these other independent agencies? In these particular areas, we would like to have independence. We don't want the president controlling. I guess what I don't understand from your overarching argument is why that determination of Congress, which makes perfect sense given its duty to protect the people of the United States, why that is subjugated to a concern about the president not being able to control everything. I mean, I appreciate there's a conflict between the two, but one would think under our constitutional design, given the history of the monarchy and the concerns that the framers had about a president controlling everything, that in the clash between those two, Congress's view that we should be able to have independence with respect to certain issues should take precedence.
Yeah. Just can't help but be infuriating. Today, the G7 tech ministers meeting in Montreal, I spoke directly to Henna Virkkunen, who challenged the EU censorship regime. Oh. No one's surprised the EU recently targeted a successful American tech company, hitting X over bogus claims of deception. Yes, they did. Yeah, President Trump says Europe is going in some bad directions.
Do you have any reaction on the fine that was imposed to X by the European Union? To X, to the platform X, the fine that the European Union...
Pretty amazing. You're talking about, is that European Union or is it, who did that? European Union or UK?
The European Commission.
Whoa, that's a nasty one. Elon has not called me to ask for help in that one. But no, it's a tough thing. I don't think it's right. No, I don't think it's right. I don't see, how they can do that. No. I'll speak about it later. I'm going to get a full report on it. Look, Europe has to be very careful. They're doing a lot of things. We want to keep Europe. Europe is going in some bad directions. It's very bad for the people. We don't want Europe to change so much. They're going in some very bad directions. That was a big thing.
Do you have any reaction?
Yep. Winooski School District in Vermont raises the Somalian flag. Unreal. Sick.
associated with Houston.
Everyone's buzzing about how the Winooski School District in left-wing Vermont raised the Somalian flag, but almost no one wants to talk about something even more shocking. Red state Texas just allowed the Pakistani flag of persecution to fly on American soil. What? Hey?
Pakistani American associated with Houston.
Outside the Pakistan Association of Greater Houston. I mean, the school districts, I mean, that's insane. This is less so. Still, yeah, but far less insane than a school district doing it. Texas Democrat Rep. Jasmine Crockett is running for Senate. Yep, she announced. Trump says, I've informed President Xi of China that the United States will allow NVIDIA to ship its H200 products to approved customers in China and other countries under conditions that allow for continued strong national security. President Xi responded positively. 25% will be paid to the United States of America. This policy will support American jobs, strengthen U.S. manufacturing, and benefit American taxpayers. Biden admin forced our great companies to spend billions of dollars building degraded products nobody wanted, a terrible idea that slowed innovation and hurt the American worker. There is over. Interesting. Okay. Not entirely sure how that's going to play out. Excuse me. Mark Elias, tied to the Steele dossier cover-up and multiple sanctioned election schemes, is representing the DNC in the Supreme Court coming up soon here. Oh, Mike Lee attended arguments at the Supreme Court in Trump versus Slaughter.
I just finished watching arguments at the Supreme Court in a case involving the constitutionality of the president's authority to fire executive branch bureaucrats. Now, Article 2 of the Constitution vests the president with the executive power and also the responsibility to execute the laws. When the president sees that the laws aren't being implemented consistent with what he deems appropriate, he should be able to fire them. And that's what the Constitution contemplates. There's a Supreme Court ruling from about 100 years ago called Humphrey's Executor. And Humphrey's Executor says that the president can't fire those employees, especially if they're part of certain multi-member lawmaking and law enforcement commissions. They're sort of a hybrid. The Supreme Court appears dissatisfied with that, and it looks like there are 5, probably 6 justices who are ready to strike down Humphrey's Executor. It would be a good day for America and for the Constitution if they did that. Look forward to seeing how the court decides this in a few months.
Huh. 5, possibly 6. Susie Wiles says Trump will campaign like it's 2024 again for midterms. Good, he's going to need to.
He's going to have a fun next year. But we're going to put him on the campaign trail, too. Typically, just a little bit of campaign speak, if I may.
Yeah.
Typically, in the midterms, it's not about who's sitting at the White House. It's you localize the election.
Right.
And you keep the federal officials out of it. We're actually going to turn that on its head.
Good.
And put him on the ballot. Because so many of those low propensity voters are Trump voters.
Yes, they are.
And we saw a week ago Tuesday what happens when he's not on the ballot and not active. So I haven't quite broken it to him yet, but he's going to campaign like it's 2024 again.
Oh.
For all these people that he helps. He doesn't help everybody, but for those he does, he's a difference maker. And he's certainly a turnout machine. So the midterms will be very important to us. He'll work very hard to keep the majority.
Yeah, we can't afford to have this stalled.
No.
And one of the things I keep telling people, I'm sure we're going to talk politics. I got to talk this. I am so frustrated with all of the people that gave abundantly to organizations like ours and others over the last 4 years to make sure that we won. And our objective was threefold. We didn't just want the presidency. We wanted the House. We wanted the Senate. And we were very strategic on where we went, how we focused to get those bombs out. And now it's like they're all sitting on their laurels and going, "Oh, we're good." I'm like, I don't
President
think you
Trump
realize how
has
good
got
we
it.
aren't. And this with swipe of a pen and one election can change everything.
And the majorities in both houses.
Yes,
Right.
they are.
This is a good Senate year for Republicans. Every 2 years is what it is for House members. So there's candidate recruitment. The president started raising money for the midterms the day after the election, and he's sitting on a huge war chest to help these people. And he'll use it, and he'll use himself, and he'll use his money that he's raised, probably his money too, and nobody can outwork him. So there's every reason to be confident, but we have to actually get it done.
Yeah.
Indeed. Trouble's on the way if we don't. Multiple strong aftershocks hit Japan after the 7.6 magnitude earthquake last night, or early this morning. Oh yeah, wow. Significant one too. Okay, Will Kane unleashes on third world migrants. Sign me up.
And that's just education. Let's take a look at the welfare state. What are illegal immigrants? What do all of these millions and tens of millions of people do to our welfare system? Well, we know the answer. We've showed you this. We showed you this starting in October. How about welfare? Whether or not it's any welfare, cash, food, Medicaid, housing. There you go. All different forms of welfare. Orange represents households headed by an illegal immigrant. Look at this.
Look how completely out of whack that is. That is fucked up, dude.
59, 18, 48, 39% of households headed by illegal immigrants taking those welfare programs. And I mentioned the numbers. It's staggering. Foreign-born population in the United States right now is the highest since 1890. And
that's crazy. Jeez. Okay, Jasmine Crockett's launch video for the Senate. Oh, this should be great.
How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her? She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble. But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person. I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person. Crockett. Oh, man, oh, man. She's a very low IQ person. Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding.
This is her launch video. It's just President Trump calling her a stupid idiot over and over again.
Now they're going to rely
while she sits there looking like an idiot.
on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring him back.
Who sold you on this being a good idea, Jasmine? Clearly, DEI hire. Can tell. Ugh, load of hot, steaming garbage. I mean, what on earth with this shitty, this shitty little film emulation going on. They have like a little shakiness and some fake dust specks.
Oh, man.
Stupid.
The new star.
Not even good.
Of the
Doesn't even look good.
Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble.
Garbage. All right. Well, best of luck with that, Jasmine. New investigation update. Catherine Herridge, in response to our April Havana Syndrome reporting, Director of National Intelligence committed to initiating a new investigation and making the findings public. Asked about the status, a spokesperson for Tulsi Gabbard said the team conducting the review of AHI intelligence has been relentless in its work and pursued the truth to complete the assessment. DNI Gabbard has provided the time, resources, and support needed to ensure the review is comprehensive and accurate. As Gabbard previously stated, the mistreatment and dismissal of Americans impacted by AHIs is unacceptable. Anomalous health incidents. That's what that stands for, right? Items found in Luigi Mangioni's backpack when he was arrested in Pennsylvania last year include handgun, silencer, magazine with bullets wrapped in underwear, who knows why, and a red notebook that an officer called a manifesto. Oh, you've got to be shitting me. ABC is extending idiot Jimmy Kimmel's contract through 2027. Months after the comedian was briefly suspended for comments suggesting Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin was tied to MAGA. Despite, like, pervasive at that time reports to the contrary. Now, how you missed that one, Jimmy? Zelensky says Ukraine won't cede territory to Russia. Oh, here we fucking go again. We're back here again. Trump's pulling out, dude. He's done. Calling it now. He's out. That's the last straw right there. Mexico continues to violate our comprehensive water treaty, Trump says, and this violation is seriously hurting our beautiful Texas crops and livestock. Oh. Mexico still owes the U.S. over 800,000 acre-feet of water for failing to comply with our treaty over the past 5 years. Ouchie. The U.S. needs Mexico to release 200,000 acre-feet of water before December 31st, and the rest must come soon after. As of now, Mexico is not responding, and it is very unfair for our U.S. farmers who deserve this much-needed water. That's why I have authorized documentation to impose a 5% tariff on Mexico if this water is not released immediately. The longer they take to release the water, the more our farmers are hurt. Mexico has an obligation to fix this now. Very nice. Oh, thank you. Just a title in YouTube chat a few minutes back said, James, I wouldn't usually watch most of what you view, but I appreciate you providing it and your time to do it. Well, you are very welcome. My pleasure, and you can definitely thank Miss Steph, wherever she's at as well, for collecting all of this for me to go over. Wouldn't be able to do it without her. So, you are very welcome, and thank you for saying so. DC pipeline mystery begins to unfurl. Oh. What's the latest here? Investigators reveal new evidence and justice prepares for prosecution. The mystery started to unfurl. Okay. Did they have another press conference or something? No. Press conference is largely devoted to stressing they've gotten no new tips or leads in the case. This is years back. I think this is just reviewing all the stuff we already know at this point, but yeah, he confessed in an interview to planning the bombs. Could shift now that he has an attorney. Daniel Brunner, retired FBI special agent, noted that some associates of Cole's called into question his mental fitness, an avenue he said a defense attorney could use to try to toss his statements, stressing that the Bureau would still need to gather as much physical evidence as possible to bolster the case. Oh, there's no way he's going to get away with an insanity defense. No frickin' way. Nope. Well, I assume we'll find out more in a week on the 15th. Oh, the Crockett rollout. There's more. Eh? Okay.
You will not be able to stay home, brother.
Thank you. My name is Hafiz Khan, and I'm a businessman here from Dallas.
Once more in English, please.
Good evening, everyone.
What?
It is truly an honor to stand here today to speak about a woman whose presence, brilliance, and courage have
He doesn't sound terribly enthusiastic about this.
created a powerful ripple far
In fact, he kind of sounds like a homeless Pakistani guy that she picked up off the street and paid $200 to do this.
beyond Texas. What I admire the most about her is how naturally
What I admire the most about her is her tenacity
Jasmine leads with honesty
and her honesty
and courage.
and courage.
She speaks
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. She's about to come out. Oh my gosh. It's live. It's live right now, you guys. It's Jasmine Crockett. We're gonna be all right. Shit. Shit. Y'all good and shit. Oh my God. No, basically all I heard was Donald Trump making fun of you. No, I don't know anyone that would think that. Nope.
I understand. There's a reason, especially in, there are a lot of things there.
And then I was like, no, girl, I'm going to go to the Senate and shit.
And I understand.
Anyway, moving on. Huge crowd. She had a nice big packed event space here. Everyone's very excited. Very excited for Jasmine. Well, I guess that's the last item, so we can keep watching Jasmine be an idiot.
I thought about my one is standing right up front. Thought about our dream. That time.
She had a calling, y'all.
Decided that I would that public. I joined it. I believe.
Except for white people.
They couldn't. Him and that attorney. I loved being a. But nevertheless, I loved being. No, I never thought that I would run off this. Off there.
Can't hear her, but I don't know why you guys can't hear her. That's bizarre. You hear me, but very little of Crockett. Yeah, I don't know what happened. That's very strange. And now that you mention it, yeah, it's like the audio just stopped feeding through. Let me see if I can fix that. Okay, let's try that.
public.
No. Very strange. Oh, nothing. It's like it's not coming through for y'all. That is bizarre.
Yo, make some
Huh.
noise for the sound man.
Nothing. I'm confused, y'all. I don't know. I don't know what to. I don't know what to make of that. Yeah, it's just it's not coming through. I know it's coming through for DLive just fine, but for some reason YouTube's just taking a dump. Well, try re-adding the screen capture back here. Okay. Play capture. Ugh. The hell was that?
Was elected as the youngest Black Democratic Party. Later, I moved to Dallas, frustrated by the to be.
Yeah.
I took on.
No, it's still not going through. I don't know what the deal is. Well, unfortunately, YouTube, I think I'm just gonna have to end it there. I don't know when that started. Why? Never had that issue happen before. But I guess I'm just gonna have to take the YouTube feed down. Because I don't know how to fix that. Without maybe taking the stream down and restarting. Unfortunate. But I guess we'll call it quits there for YouTube. There I am. Yeah, we'll call it quits there. I'll keep going on DLive since it's still working there. But hold on. Gotta size this like, there we go. All right, cool. Well, bye YouTube. Feel free to come on over to DLive and hang out there, or Rumble, preferably Rumble. And I'll have to figure out what the issue is later tonight. All right, bye YouTube. See ya. Sorry.